I want to ask you guys a question. Okay, I'm here with my wife, and we've been married for 18 years. Yes. And we've got 5 children, and we left them all at home. So I'm a little anxious to get this over with. Just kidding. But if I were to, let's say you were going to interview me, okay? I'm going to take notes on what you say. Let's say you were going to interview me, and your job was to find out whether or not I really loved my wife. I want you to think, what question would you ask me? Okay, so I'm going to just, is there anyone over here that would think of a good question? Yeah, what? Do I love her? Well, okay, that's the obvious one. Okay, we got that one out of the way. Okay, let's come up with a new one. That's good. How about a girl? Maybe girls know more about love. Okay, yeah. What emotions do I feel when I look at her? Well, come on, you guys. All right. Well, okay, I'll let a guy redeem the man. Okay, Gorilla Man. How often do I get her something? Do I spoil her? Thank you. That came from a man. I heard a gal over here say something. Have I been faithful? You asking me? All right. What's that? How do I make her smile? What are you guys laughing about out there? Okay, what did they say out there? How big's the ring? Are you kidding me? Okay, let me answer that question. So I did get her a ring, obviously, but she was so convicted a couple years ago about there's a ministry where you can actually give your wedding ring to the ministry, and they sell it, and so that they can provide clean water for people in places that don't have clean drinking water. So that's my wife for you. Okay, serious question though. What would I do for her? They already asked, die for her. Okay, let me pick hands. Okay, girl. What's that? Is it Facebook official? All right. All right. One more. I'm going to ask you know about love, I can tell. Do I treat her like she's the only girl in the world? Wow. She does make me feel like she's the only girl in the world. Do I make her a sandwich? All right. That's good. Those are good questions. Okay, so let's get back to the question. Jesus says, do you love me? And that's a very important question, right? Because Jesus said, what's the greatest command? Love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind. So at the center of everything we do, it always has to go back to how much do I love this God? So let me ask you some questions about your relationship with God. What emotions do you feel when you think about God? How often do you get him stuff? I guess that one doesn't really work. No, but how often do you do something for him? Would you die for him? Have you been faithful to him? Is there anything you wouldn't do for him? Is it Facebook official? Seriously, what does your Facebook look like? Is it obvious on your Facebook that you love God? Or is it obvious that you love yourself? You see, a lot of times we talk and we say, oh, I love God, and it's very easy to say these things, but I'm using your definition of love. I mean, seriously, what emotions do you feel? Even right now, when I say Jesus, is there any emotion that rises in you? Is there any part of you that just goes, man, every time I hear that name? Or is it a name that's become common to you? Is he someone you would die for? You see, one of the things I think about when I see a group this size is I got to ask you, man, are you really in love with God? I mean, is your relationship with God really your relationship with God? And what I mean by that is I know a lot of you grew up in church. And it's very easy to just kind of think, oh, yeah, I go to church. Yeah, I don't do this. Yeah, I prayed a prayer. Yeah, I got baptized. But I'm saying, man, do you love him? I mean, do you have a relationship with him? It's so important because at the end of your life, when you stand before God, it's going to be you and God. It's just you and him. It's just you and Jesus. And he says one of two things to you. Either he says, well done, good and faithful servant, come on in. Or he says, depart from me, I never knew you. I knew your dad. I knew your brother. I knew some of the people in your youth group. I knew your youth pastor. But you, I never knew you. Like, do you really have a relationship with him? I mean, what if you left the conference this week, you go home and you find out that your parents, your whole family decides, we're not going to worship Jesus anymore? And what if your whole youth group, all the friends you're with, all the friends back home, what if they all say, we're not going to do this anymore? We're not going to follow Jesus anymore. What would you do? Seriously, imagine that. Okay? So no one in your life is following Jesus anymore. What would you do? Think about it. Would you really be the type of person that could look your parents in the eye and say, look, Mom, Dad, man, it kills me that you're not following Jesus, but I love him. I'm going to keep following him. To be able to look at your friends and say, man, it stinks that all of you guys left the youth group. You left the church, but it doesn't matter. You know what? Because I personally am in love with Jesus. Can you say that? Is that the type of person you are? Because the Bible says in Matthew 10, verse 21, it says that brother will deliver brother over to death, father his child, children will rise against parents and have them put to death, and you will be hated by all for my name's sake, but the one who endures to the end will be saved. It's talking about the one who will endure. See, some of you, you love God right now when there's a big group of believers around. But what's it going to be like when you get back to school? Or when you're feeling kind of alone? Will you still love him? You know, when early in our marriage, I remember one time my wife, she asked me a question. She goes, do I do anything that bugs you? And I said, yeah. There's a couple things. And so I just told her what they were. And then I asked her, are there things that I do that bug you? And she had a list. No. But it was interesting because, just out of the blue, she just asked, is there something I do that bothers you? And so I told her a few little things. And what was so cool was after we had that talk, she worked so hard to try to never do those things again. And I thought, that's so cool. She asked me just because when you love someone, you want to know what bugs you, right? When you love someone, you go, man, what bothers you? And I'm going to try not to do those things. And it made me think of how in Psalm 139, David says to God, first, that whole psalm, he says, God, you know everything about me. But I love this phrase at the very end of the chapter. He says this. He goes, search me, God. Know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts. See if there's any offensive way in me and lead me in the everlasting way. See, David asked God the same thing. He goes, God, look at my life right now. Is there anything that I'm doing that bothers you, that is offensive to you, that grieves you? And he goes, and then help me get that out of my life. I want you to think, if you were to ask God that right now, what do you believe he would say? If you were to say, God, search me right now. Look at my life. What am I doing that bothers you? What would he say? See, Jesus says there's a natural response to love. In John 14, verse 15, he says, if you love me, you will obey what I command.